Hi, this is Anthony Madrigal from the Idea Center, and welcome to the Intro to Vinyl Cutting video. There are two types of vinyl that we have available. One is sticker vinyl, and the other one is heat transfer vinyl. The way you can tell the difference is by slightly peeling a corner of it, and if the color side is sticky, then that's sticker vinyl, and if it's not sticky, then it's heat transfer vinyl. Sticker vinyl is usually used to put on walls or hydro flask or paper or anything like that. Heat transfer vinyl is used to transfer your design onto garments like shirts. Now, before we start, this is a vinyl cutter and the laptop dedicated to it. And this is how clean the work area should be before you start. First, we're going to open the laptop for vinyl cutting and open the app called Roll Cut Studio. We have to check that the laptop is connected to the printer. To do this, we're going to go to File in the top left, then click Cutting Setup, and check that it says Roland GS-24. Now we're going to bring up our image into the software. If you want to follow along, the image that I'm using is from our website's Learning Center in the Google Drive. I'm going to import by going to File, then Import, and selecting the image that I want. Your image has to be in black and white, just like this, no grayscale or shading. Now select your image with left click, then right click and press Image Outline, then Extract Contour Lines. This will create a new outline. Select this outline and drag it away from the image. Now you can delete your original image by left clicking it and pressing backspace. Now I'm going to resize the image by selecting it and either dragging one of these points or typing in how big I want it to be in the right hand side. I'm going to set my image to 3 inches in width. Now the image doesn't look right, but that's because I did not lock in the aspect ratio. So I'm going to undo, and this time when I change the size, I'm going to lock the aspect ratio so my image looks the same when I change the size. Now that it's the right size, we're going to place it in the bottom left corner so that we save material. If we're using heat transfer vinyl, then we need to mirror this image. To do this, I'm just going to select it and press this button to flip it horizontally. Next, we're going to turn on the machine by clicking the power button, and we're going to put this lever down, which causes the little wheels to go up. And now we're going to feed a bit of our material starting from the back and coming to the front. Just enough so that we can use these lines to make sure that the material is being loaded in straight. If you have heat transfer vinyl, instead of loading it with this glossy, shiny side up, you're going to flip it and load it onto the matte surface. It's much less shiny and sometimes has these bubbles through it. The vinyl cutter will cut your design out correctly this way. So just remember to do shiny side down on heat transfer vinyl. Now that the material is fed through and straight, we have to move it to a place where both edges of the page are underneath a white strip. And then we're going to slide the wheels underneath the white and at the edges of the material, making sure again the wheel isn't in between white strips or anywhere not completely underneath one. And now press the lever to lock it in. Once our material is loaded in, we need to have the vinyl cutter measure it. We're going to come over to the machine display, we're going to go down to edge and click enter. Now the machine's going to measure the length from edge to edge and how much is already fed through the machine. After it's done doing this, it's going to display a width. This is the usable width for any design you want to cut. Next, we're going to get our design cut out. To start, we're going to go to File, then Cutting Setup, then change our units to inches, and then click Get from Machine and click OK and OK. Now our workspace on the screen will be the same width as the usable work area. And once you're ready to cut pieces out, click Cutting on the top toolbar and double check that our printer is named in the top left. Then confirm that the quality is set to normal and click OK. Now the machine should start cutting. Once it's all done cutting, push down the lever to unlock the wheels and cut off the piece of vinyl with some scissors. You can get scissors at the front desk. If you're using sticker vinyl, hang onto the scissors. And at this point, you should roll up your vinyl by removing it from the back of the machine and store it. Then turn off the machine by clicking and holding the power button. Now we'll get into weeding our piece. So far the vinyl cutter has only cut all the lines through the material, and we'll still need to put in work to get rid of all the colored areas that we don't want. For very detailed designs, this part can take a little while and get messy really fast. Before you even begin, take note of the closest garbage bin and make a plan to either sweep pieces into the bin off of a work table or pile up the pieces. The goal is to pick out and peel off all the unwanted color on the material. Feel free to use any of the tools underneath the vinyl cutter to help with the process. We have fine pointed tweezers and various craft picks. Be careful not to pull off multiple pieces all at once. It's best to move slowly at the start and be extra careful when you're using tweezers and picks because they are very sharp. Here's some advice to help you progress quicker. It can be useful to pull at a sharp angle like this, and you can also use a point tool to stab into the material and peel it up, or use its point to peel an edge up. Another helpful tip to see where all the cuts are is to hold up the vinyl to a light. You're all done weeding once you've picked out everything except for your design. Collect every piece of vinyl scrap and sweep it into the trash. Now, if you're using sticker vinyl, you've got one more step before wrapping up. If you're using heat transfer vinyl, skip ahead to this timestamp because you won't need to apply transfer tape. Instead, you're going to be using the heat press. So for sticker vinyl, you're going to get some transfer tape after weeding. It's usually a roll with a red grid over it, and use scissors to cut off a piece of tape as big as your design. Then peel away an inch of transfer tape and fold back the non-transparent side. Separate the white backing while sticking on the exposed transfer tape. Now this will be your finished piece, and you can peel off the white backing to apply the sticker when you're ready for use. Now that we're ready to apply our design, we need to turn on the heat press. Press the power button now and set the temperature to 300 by clicking temp and using the up and down buttons to get to 300. As for the timer, click time and use the arrows to set it to 15 seconds. Every vinyl is different, but these settings are a good baseline to use. The hot plate is this piece of metal up here. Do not touch this plate. It's very dangerous and it will burn you. If any part of your vinyl gets stuck to it or something goes wrong, call over staff to help. While the press is heating up, place your garment flat over the soft lower plate of the press and make sure there are no wrinkles in the fabric where your design will be applied. And make sure that your garment isn't crooked. Before placing the heat transfer vinyl, take some parchment paper and do a quick pre-press for about 5 seconds to remove any moisture or wrinkles. Then take your heat transfer vinyl and position your design shiny side up where you want it to be on the fabric. Double check that you've got this on the right side, and if it's text, you should be able to read it properly and your design shouldn't be mirrored. Once it's on the garment and you touch it, the plastic should feel very glossy, not sticky. When you've got that ready, place the piece of parchment back on top of the plastic. Once the heat press reaches the correct temperature, lower the top plate and press firmly for the whole length of the timer. When the timer goes off, lift the press and let the design cool. Wait at least a minute before touching the plastic. It'll be really hot right after pressing. Hold your hand over the plastic or gently tap it to check that it's cool enough to peel. After peeling, run your fingers over the design to ensure that it's fully adhered. If any edges lift, put the parchment paper back over it and press again for 15 seconds. Once your design is secure, turn off the heat press and let it cool down. Now your garment's ready to wear, and make sure to at least wait 24 hours before washing it. And that's it for your intro to vinyl cutting video. Thanks for watching.